Potty Mouths. This is Stephanie, 1982.
This is Bert, 1984.
This is Beautiful Brad, 1983.
So, in case you haven't noticed from the 80s, we're doing another Retro Rewind. Oh my god. Today's topic is TV shows. Now, we did cartoons, but now it's actual TV shows. So there will not be any cartoons mentioned in this episode, but I think TV shows is just as fun.
Yeah.
Even though most of my childhood was spent watching cartoons, I still, amazingly, watched a shitload of regular TV, too.
I watched more regular TV because my parents absolutely hated cartoons. So
This is one thing I gotta thank my mom for. My mom will sit down and watch some fucking cartoons.
yeah, we didn't watch a whole lot of cartoons. I watch TV shows.
As an adult, my mom was all for, like, the teenager type shows. Like, my mom watched more Dawson's Creek and Buffy and Angel than I did.
Really?
So I appreciate my mother's taste in TV because I had a pretty great childhood because of what was on my TV.
All my lame-ass parents watched was the news.
Oh, man.
That's what we graduated up to in my older years.
Nah.
Was the news and the Weather Channel.
Yeah.
Not my family. See, my family, they'll watch the news a little bit, but not really. It's in between shows in case they're watching a show that's on like Channel 5 or 12 or whatever. But my dad's probably got the goofiest TV watching habits. He watches like figure skating and tennis and golf and bass fishing and...
Exciting lineup.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say with the Olympics, we watched a lot of figure skating and then gymnastics.
Well, my dad used to watch those. It wasn't even part of the Olympics. It was just those random figure skating competitions where they would be doing, like, backflips and shit to rock music. My dad's just weird about figure skating.
I think old people just are like that.
Yeah.
My dad's not that old.
No, they're old. They're old. 'Cause my parents did it too. That's just old.
But then my dad will sit there dedicated to watching golf, and I'm like...
Okay, well, from our previous discussion before we went live here, we were talking about our parents watching figure skating, bass, and everything. But we just got done talking about how we watch people play video games on Twitch TV. Think about it. That's just our version of figure skating.
Good point.
Bass
No,
fishing
yeah.
and golf.
But we're
and
watching
tennis.
watching horror games. We're not watching other people play solitaire on Twitch. That's
That would rule.
it would be.
Get that too! Oh, it's getting ready to
Son of a bitch, you added too many to the pile. Now you're gonna have to back it up. No, no. Oh, you missed the queen. No. It would be their figure skating and their golf is if they watched somebody play solitaire on Twitch TV. Ours is at least entertaining.
No. Us watching solitaire on Twitch TV would be like them watching the World Poker Championship.
I don't watch the World Poker Championship.
Yeah, but your dad probably does. So
Yeah, he probably does. Yeah, Dad would watch solitaire on Twitch. I don't know. I think the survivor horror games are great, and I think it's just as entertaining as TV shows.
yeah, I do too.
Although I am in a weird place right now where I've just been watching all these British movies and these British miniseries.
That is weird.
I'm British as hell right now.
Can't stand British shows.
Oh my god, I love it. Every now and then I just get a craving for it. And
Some are
I've
really
been doing
good.
I've been doing it for
Some
I
are
can't
days.
get
terrible.
past it.
Doctor Who
See,
is the worst.
No.
I tried with Doctor Who, and I'm like, I can't
I
do
hate
it.
Doctor Who. I'm talking
Horrible.
I'm talking like things based off novels by Dickens, by the Bronte sisters,
But so
Jane
funny.
Austen.
Like the one she's watching, like she was watching one show the other day. I looked at him, I'm like, is that Rick from The Walking Dead? She goes,
Yeah.
yep. Before he did The Walking Dead.
And then-
Tom Hardy. I mean, just all of
this
them.
one
you
I'm
know?
watching now, I was like, or this one I finished watching yesterday, I was like, I know that face, and I looked it up. It's an extremely young James McAvoy. And I'm like, well, hell yeah. I mean, I watch the good British shit, the shit based off novels, not Dr. fucking Who.
I don't believe it.
I mean, it's very... You have to like the period and be into some romantic stuff.
Fair
and
enough.
for whatever reason, every now and then I jones for it. I'm going like day 5 or 6 hard on the British novel miniseries
Since
right
I've
now.
been on vacation.
Yeah.
So she's making you watch this shit.
No.
No, I'm busy either doing schoolwork, working on the new computer desk, or Last night, I went to the room and passed out drunk.
That
Yeah,
boy.
took him out for a birthday lunch. Took him out for a birthday lunch.
It wasn't a birthday lunch. It was a birthday dinner.
Well, birthday dinner.
Early dinner.
Filled him full of beer and food. Made him go on a walk to walk some of it off.
She made me walk across the Purple People Bridge and back.
Really?
I get to the car. She goes, "Are you okay? Did you drink too much?" I'm like, no, that damn walkabout killed me.
He came home and slept for like 6 hours, woke up, peed, and went back to sleep.
I was doing good till we did the walk.
I just wanted to walk off some of the food we ate.
Oh, it was so good, though. I had my schnitzel and beer cheese and German potato salad.
Got to get the Hofbrau.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Love that place.
Yeah.
I ate light, but I
drank
still
two
wanted
big
to
old
walk.
beers, and I didn't feel the first one until I started drinking the second one. And bam! I was like,
He
wow!
sucked off that first bit of foam. He's like, I got it. I'm feeling it.
Oh, that lovely warm feeling of the crouching buzz.
And then she made me walk. It's like, damn!
She gave the man another beer and let him sit down and enjoy it.
Hey, I watched my little British mini-series in the living room while he got to put on Twitch
I
TV
turned Twitch in
and
the bedroom and I
sleep to
fell
it.
asleep.
I left him alone. I didn't bother him. I didn't make him get up or do anything. I was a good wife yesterday. Anyway.
Let's get on topic.
Completely off topic.
Let's get on topic here.
So, once again, just like the Retro Rewind cartoons episode, we were absolutely triggered by Ranker's list of top 1980s TV shows.
And I know you guys heard me say it before, and I'll say it again. It's because of flat earthers.
Oh, God.
These people have no sense of reality. I'm just putting it out there. They must run Ranker.
So, I'm going to let you know what Ranker's top 10 is. We might even go a little further than top 10. And then we decided to go ahead and do our own top 10 because this list is horseshit. Now, I will say, looking on IMDb, the list gets better, but Ranker fucked it. So, according to Ranker, number 1 is Cheers, 2 is Family Ties, 3 is Magnum P.I., 4 is Night Court, 5 The Wonder Years, 6 MASH, 7 Golden Girls, 8 Moonlighting, 9 Hill Street Blues, 10 Taxi, 11 Newhart, 12 The A-Team, 13 Married with Children, which we've debunked from this episode.
Yeah, because it's 1987 or 88.
Yeah.
It's mostly
yeah,
the 90s.
it's mostly 90s. So then there's Miami Vice. 15 is The Cosby Show. So that's the top 15. So already in the top 15, they haven't mentioned Knight Rider, MacGyver. Let's see, what are the other big ones? Who's the Boss? They haven't even mentioned Full House, which is mostly 90s. I mean, there are so many. We're in the top 15, and I'm already like, this is wrong.
A lot of the shows they disclaim there, they bring out, I agree, or in the top something.
Oh, yeah, the
agree.
Cheers and the Magnum P.I.
MASH.
and Night Court and all
The
that.
MASH
That's
is
great.
mostly 70s, so
Yes.
call it out there. The Hill Street Blues, I didn't think was all that great.
Newhart.
Now, Newhart, I liked Newhart. There's my brother Daryl, my other brother Daryl. I mean,
But top 15?
I could see it. I
don't
really
know.
could. But Moonlighting, love Bruce Willis, but it was not that great of a show, and it didn't do well. So I don't see how that falls so high. Family Ties? All right, whatever.
Taxi.
Taxi falls more 70s
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it came in the 80s, but it's more 70s. MASH is more 70s. But MASH, I have to say, should be much higher on the list. Like, Cheers, I can almost see being
Yeah,
in the
if you're
going to
put MASH in the 80s group, even though it's mostly, I mean, it started heavily in the 70s, and it gives me, like, when I think of 70s, I think of Chips, I think of fucking MASH, and...
Chips is interesting. It's mostly 80s.
But it's got that 70s
Oh,
feel.
yeah. Well, in the 80s, they still thought they were in the 70s. Just like in the early 90s, they still thought
true.
they were in the 80s.
But-
you look at the hair, you look at the clothing.
If you're going to place MASH firmly into the 80s category, it needs to be higher than number 6.
Yes, agreed. And Cheers, definitely high. I don't disagree
number
with Cheers
one-
being 1. I don't disagree with that.
It's
It wasn't one of my favorites.
It's not my personal cup of tea, but I get it.
No, I mean, it was
I get
popular. Everybody knew the Cheers theme song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You heard it, you knew it was for Cheers. Just like with MASH, you heard it, you knew it was MASH. You knew it, even if you didn't ever watch the show, you've heard it in the background or you heard somebody talking about it in commercials or something. People knew those shows.
Agreed. But, so, we're going to do our top 10,
Yep.
to affix this atrocity. These are, and just so everybody knows, these are our personal top 10s. We're not saying it's for everyone. Everybody's got their own little personal style. Some of these shows I've never seen an episode of. So...
And they're in your top 10?
No.
Yeah, I was going to say, thank you, beautiful Brad.
No, I mean, like...
Sorry, you didn't think much of the 80s, did you?
Like, some of that... But, oh my God, but what about this show? Mm-hmm. It's my personal top 10. Yeah. If I've never... It could be a great show. I never watched it.
So just to tell the audience out there, my top 10 is based off what I remember from memory.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I remembered it from memory, then it left a mark on me, so it deserved to be in my top 10. But then as we were doing research on these shows to find out best intros and worst intros, that sort of thing, then I saw other shows come, hey, I like that a lot too. Does it fall in my top 10? I thought to myself, no, it doesn't, for the simple fact that it was not one of the first ones that come to my mind when putting this down. So there are others, and you can ask me 6 weeks from now, and I may give you another list of my top 10.
Same here.
No, I am firm on my top 10.
I went off of how I felt as a kid. Like, I haven't even fucking seen some of these shows since I was a kid.
Yeah. Could you imagine trying to watch some of this stuff now? You'd be like, this is terrible.
No,
right.
Another reason why I am firm on my top 10 is when, like, Hulu first came out, they went hard on the nostalgic-ass TV shows. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was under nostalgic TV, and I watched all of the Golden Girls. I watched all of Designing Women. I'm on Amazon currently rewatching all of MacGyver. So I have seen this shit recently. I am firm on my top 10.
Here's one before we get started that I consider an 80s show, but it went 1988 to 93. The Wonder Years.
That's fine.
I've rewatched that. That's the only one, and
that's fine.
That show.
See, I remember watching it. That one stands out to me because of the narration. You know, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if I hated the show or I liked the show. It was one of those shows. Mm-hmm. But what I can say, and Stephanie, cover your earmuffs. The girlfriend in that is a hot math professor now.
Yes.
And it's, oh my God.
I agree.
I want to watch it again because I'm like, damn, she's cute. Like, damn, she's smart. Damn.
You're supposed to keep your earmuffs on.
Yeah, what the hell? We weren't supposed to get mad so you went to edit this pod.
Oh my God. Every time I start editing, and I'm still editing when you get home, the second you walk in the door, I want to slap you right in the fucking face. Anyway, so who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
With their top 10, and then we'll shoot back and forth as we go down the list.
All right, folks, I'm a rule breaker. I have a top 11.
Oh, jeez.
So number one, because I don't know how you missed it, because I thought it was mostly 90s, but it's actually started in the 80s. But number one, best show of all time, Star Trek Next Generation. Just putting it out there.
When did that start?
86, 87?
Yeah. It started mid-80s, but the reason why it's not in my list, just a disclaimer, is because of how many other years it went not in the 80s.
Yeah, all the way to 94,
now,
I think. So.
Would it have been in my top 10 had I included it in the 80s? Yes, but it is not because it spent more years in other other
see, that's
years.
I had a hard time with this one.
See, I didn't have a hard time with that, so it was kind of okay for me to exclude that.
All right. Yeah. So, best show ever is what I got down for. Ever. Any decade, whichever.
Yes.
But I also have 10 that are more firmly planted in the 80s. At least I feel like they're more firmly planted in the 80s. These are in no order whatsoever. I wasn't going to put them in an order.
I put mine in order.
Yeah, that's...
I am firm.
I didn't want that much effort. So, Fall Guy. I love the Fall Guy. The A-Team. Knight Rider. Mork and Mindy. Simon and Simon. Magnum P.I. Chips. Greatest American Hero. Charles in Charge. Perfect Strangers.
Nice. Some of them I didn't even know, but yeah.
Which one didn't you know?
Simon and Simon.
So, you remember the show Major Dad? Gerald Ramey?
No, it's not ringing a bell.
Did you watch any House of Cards?
No.
Oh my God, Brad.
Did you watch any of Longmire on Netflix?
Nope.
What? Longmire's so good.
Well, Gerald Ramey was the main guy in there and his brother, and it was a really good show. You remember Designing Women, right? Delta Burke?
I don't remember that either.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
Brad.
Gerald Ramey was married to Delta Burke.
cartoons.
Do you have Hulu?
Yeah. I don't.
You need to get deep in that 80s shit.
We'll have to show you the intro for Simon and Simon, but they were pretty much two brothers. They were private eye detective kind of things. One was like the rich boy, preppy guy, drove the Corvette. Then Gerald Ramey was the redneck cowboy hat, drove the big giant Dodge pickup truck.
You know what that reminds me? The movie Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man.
Not that good.
I mean, it was a bad but captivating movie. But you got the futuristic guy, and then you got
Yeah, that was Simon. It was good, wholesome fun. Loved Magnum PI. Tom Selleck was just badass.
Yeah,
one of the best intros too. It competes for my best intro when we get to intros. 18. Just what Stephanie was saying about what show was on when I was born. It was the 18.
Yeah. So just a little thing. Brad texted me earlier today, and he goes, some of these, I don't know how long they were in the 80s, but, I want to count them. And I'm like, it's fine. Because Brad and I, there's a lot that we would probably change if we remembered things, but we don't remember things. However, I made the comment that fuck Robert and his timeline, because he probably remembers the TV show that was playing the day he was born. And then I told him what I text you, and he's like, it was the A-Team.
Chips, like you said, a lot of 70s, but carried off into the 80s, and it was just a really cool show.
I just remember the very first episode of Chips, and it just gave me such 70s feels.
Mork and Mindy. Really enjoyed Mork and Mindy. I loved Robin Williams. I thought he was just so cool. Knight Rider, that was my show. David Hasselhoff, The Hoff, just such a cool show.
It's just solid.
The Fall Guy, it was a really cool show. I wanted to be a stuntman forever because of that show. Charles in Charge. Who doesn't like Scott Baio?
Charles in Charge.
Just so great.
Yeah, that theme song was catchy as shit.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
And then I remember this from being TGI Fridays on ABC was Perfect Strangers.
Yeah.
Loved Perfect Strangers.
Same here.
Every Friday, that was the show I wanted to watch.
Yep, I remember it. It was one of my faves, one of my top 10s.
Well, what's your top 10 then, Brad?
All right, so I'm not doing it in any order either. So I've got Family Ties, Alf, Growing Pains, Who's the Boss, Perfect Strangers, The Wonder Years, which I know it kind of leans. I went with it. I rolled with it.
You roll with it.
Charles in Charge, Webster, The Golden Girls, and Cheers. Now I went off memory. Like I said, the only one I ever rewatched was The Wonder Years. So this is all I remember from being a kid and watching this shit in the 80s. But that's what I came up with.
Pretty solid.
Yeah.
So for me,
I want to watch Wonder Years again now.
Now
I fucking loved it.
I want to rewatch some of the stuff in my list, even though I already have. And let me tell you what, I could go round 3 on the Golden Girls any day. But
I
anyway.
know she could.
So mine from 10 to 1. I'm going to go backwards. 10, Magnum PI. 9, Mr. Belvedere. 8, Knight Rider. 7, Murder, She Wrote. 6, The Cosby Show. 5, Who's the Boss. 4, Designing Women. 3, MacGyver. 2, Night Court. And the number 1 show of the 80s for me was the fucking Golden Girls. So that's my top 10.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. I think Magnum PI and Knight Rider are a little low on that, but since you're in order, what?
It is, but it's lower for a reason. I've watched far more episodes of the other TV shows, and if given a chance to sit down and watch, if an episode of Knight Rider and an episode of Golden Girls was on at the same time, I would choose Golden Girls 9 times out of 10. So that's how I go about my list. Whenever I think of a TV show and I got to put it where, or even movies, if 2 movies or 2 shows are on at the same time, which one am I going to watch? And that's how I rate these things.
That's a good rating system.
I mean, and plus, not to mention that, but I hate to bring, gender into this, but I am a chick, so Golden Girls and Designing Women and all that being up there as opposed to the Knight Rider and the Magnum PIs just kind of makes sense for me.
So our next part of this topic gets into the best intro. But the intro alone makes Magnum PI so much better. That intro alone
Give me my phone.
is enough.
So, well then, let's do it. Give me my phone.
No, you'll drop it, break the screen.
I was just a screen protector.
That intro alone makes Magnum PI much higher.
We know. Well, what is your number 1 intro? Is that your number 1 intro?
Well, it's a tie between that one and, give me a minute, and this one. I don't remember watching the show that much, but after listening to the intro, I was like, that was a pretty freaking cool intro they had.
Nice. Which one's good?
Miami Vice?
Oh, yeah.
That's catchy.
82. greatness.
Exactly.
So, Brad, what's your number one intro?
I went with the Wonder Years, man. Joe Cocker's cover of the Beatles. Get by with a little help from my friends.
I mean, it's a solid intro.
That is solid, because I didn't even know that was a Beatles song. Until just now. I'm not a big Beatles fan, so.
I love the Beatles.
But anytime I hear that, I mean, I think that's Wonder Years.
Yeah.
That's Fred Savage and the Hot Math Chick.
And when I was thinking of, like, intros, I mean, that and
Solid.
Charles in Charge and Perfect Strangers were the only ones that came to my head. I mean, obviously that Miami Vice intro was tight as fuck.
Yeah.
And it's so 80s.
Yes.
It is. It's perfect.
It is so 80s. Like, I'm seeing hot pink and teal and white blazers.
I'm seeing the hamburger meat hanging out the guy's shirts in Florida, the flamingos.
Everybody, even the chicks, have a Tom Selleck mustache.
Yeah, hell
Everybody's driving.
Somebody doing cocaine off the hood of their sports car.
Everybody's driving a fucking Trans Am. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, those are my two tops. I like Wonder Years. That's a solid intro. I agree.
Mine's the Golden Girls intro, man.
You gonna play? Give us a refresher.
Yeah.
Please do.
It's sung by a woman in the intro, but the original song is done by a guy named Andrew Gold.
Yep.
See, I feel if I had the time to sit down and go through all the intros, it might be different.
See, that's catchy too, because every time I heard that, I knew Golden Girls. I did not watch Golden Girls that much as a kid. I mean, I saw it, it was on, but it wasn't something I watched. But it's heard, it was Golden Girls. You just knew.
Yeah, because like we've got the worst category, and it's kind of hard to fuck up a TV jingle, you know.
I have a worst.
I didn't have a worst.
Hang on. No,
by the way, my youngest knows the theme song for Golden Girls because I watched it so much, and he loves that jam.
No,
I
Universal.
love that intro.
No, that's not the right one.
So I'm going to give you guys a solid 80s one that doesn't have words, and everybody forgets how tight MacGyver's theme is.
Oh, yes.
You like that? I love this. Okay. I'm just saying, it's an honorable mention for best intro.
Oh, totally, yes.
So,
Charles in Charge.
Yeah.
Come on.
No words, the MacGyver intro.
No, MacGyver's is cool.
After this ad.
Oh, you should have prepped better. God dang it, Stephanie. Please remove and edit.
This will always be one of my favorite shows ever.
I feel like I'm at my buddy Luke's house and I'm about to get raped with that theme song.
Why? Did he watch MacGyver while he rapes people?
Yeah, I don't know. It just sounds like some weird, like, 80s music that he was playing last time I was over there. As he was...
All right. So my worst. No one's going to recognize this one.
Oh, God.
But this is my worst. Oh, are you serious?
What are you looking for? What's your worst?
Heart to Heart. Terrible.
I don't see. I've never even seen that show.
It had Robert Wagner in it, and it was just, I don't know why it's not playing the song part, and it won't let me fast forward it to the musical part, because it's just terrible.
Well, that's terrible, but I've got one that's more terrible.
Why won't it? I am so sorry, audience.
Hey, what's up, guys and gals? My name is Rick 9G.
Never mind, Heart to Heart. Terrible.
So, my worst.
This one's bad, too.
Yeah, that sounds pretty awful.
The fucking Love Boat.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Terrible.
Ready to let it kick. Anyway.
Yep, never mind. Yeah, edit out the Ready to Rumble part, because that guy, he's like, his voice is like patented and everything else, and he'll charge us if he hears it on the podcast.
I mean, we're going to try and do the best editing we can for this situation, but we had to play some of those songs. But the Love Boat is probably the worst. I mean, besides when we did the cartoon episode, you guys forgot about that fucking shit intro that G.I. Joe had.
Yeah.
But I hate the Love Boat intro for the same reason I didn't like the G.I. Joe one. It was just some guy singing like he was reading from a teleprompter. Like, he was just like, I don't know, give me a box with a sentence on it. I need a box with a sentence on it. I'm gonna get this tea. Okay.
Brewing instructions.
Iced tea for a refreshing quart of iced tea, and then he just sang it. That's it.
Refreshing quart of iced tea.
For a refreshing quart of ice. It was just like they just took
It was a Double Mint commercial.
Oh my God, yes.
I wonder if we
But
can
even
find it
Double Mint was
without
great.
lyrics and play like the background music and have her read part of that box.
And then for the Love Boat, it would just like, instead of Love Boat, it would say iced tea. It would be like, iced tea for a refreshing quart of iced tea. And that was the fucking song, man, and it drives me nuts.
Yeah, it was terrible. Heart to Heart was terrible too. That I don't know why I couldn't get to come up on here. That makes me so mad.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, we got the Love Boat karaoke version. Let's have you read off the box.
Oh, I think I just
Follow
did
the
my-
bouncing cruise boat.
Oh my God. So yeah, it's Brad. You didn't have a worse intro?
I couldn't think of one. I mean, you guys gave me two that are pretty bad. So I'll roll with those.
Pretty bad.
All right. So your most favorite character of your 80s TV shows?
It's easy for me.
It's hard for me, so you can go first.
Named our son after him.
Oh, yeah.
Commander William T. Riker.
Hell yeah.
Obviously, he's got to be my favorite because I named my kid after him, you know?
Yeah.
What you got?
All right. So mine's hard because I wanted to go with the strong women of 80s TV shows, which is all obviously Julia Sugarbaker from Designing Women, Dorothy Spornak from Golden Girls, and fucking Claire Huxtable from The Cosby Show. I love when somebody would say something and she would just go the fuck off on him. It was great.
I agree
But
with that.
even though I love my sassy ladies of the 80s, and nobody puts them down like Claire, nobody gives them sass and puts them in their place like Julia, and nobody is awesome as Dorothy, but I had to go with Harry T. Stoneman from Night Court.
Harry T. Stone.
I loved him. He was my dude.
Did too.
He was one of my favorite people of the 80s. Love him so much.
I loved Bull.
Bull would have been, if it was just based on Night Court, Bull would have been
So
my right up there. My number
Fun fact for our audience. Stephanie and I had been together 2 or 3 years. We were watching one of her horrible shark movies.
2. It was Ghost Shark.
Ghost Shark.
Ghost Shark.
And there's a silhouette of a man on the other side of the curtain. You can't tell the silhouette. I look at her and I'm like...
Just from the back of the man's
I'm like,
head.
that's Bull from Night Court. She goes, no, it's... And they moved the curtain and there it was, Bull with a beard.
Just the shape of the back of his head, and Bert's like, that's Bull!
Love that man. Bull and his... What was the lady's name? The other bailiff?
Roz.
Roz. Loved Bull and Roz.
Dude, there was
So
an
cool.
episode of Night Court where Roz, I think she was on some medication or something happened. Remember, she freaked out and she was up on the roof and shit. Shit was getting crazy, and
I think I do remember that.
Bull had to go up there and bring her down. Oh my God.
But Bull just came off as the really big, simple guy. You know, simple, kind.
But he made sense.
Yeah, I mean, I loved Bull.
I did too.
He was awesome.
Well, Brad, who was your favorite character in the 80s?
Mine was Alf because I love space creatures and better than Alf.
He was the space creature of the 80s.
He's the cute, cuddly one.
He almost fell as my worst.
And he ate cats.
That was the problem.
We like cats.
I like cats, and Alf liked cats too, just in a different way. Could you imagine like an Alf Garfield crossover?
That would be tight. That's a horror movie.
Yes, it is. It's definitely a horror movie.
Should put that in my reboot section.
Oh, that's good
So,
stuff.
who was your most hated character? Well, I wouldn't say hated. What your worst character of 80s TV shows?
I couldn't think of one. I had a hard time with it. I tried.
So many, Brad.
I know. See, my memory obviously shit. So
All right, so big Star Trek fan. I call out Next Generation. But my worst character was from Star Trek, played by William Shatner. T.J. Hooker. It's like, really? Ugh, not a fan.
Yeah, I agree.
Not a fan. Sorry.
So, since I didn't count Generations in here, if I didn't count it, then I didn't put it down. So, my least favorite character was Murdoch from MacGyver. Now, the reason why, even though I love the man, I love him a lot.
What do you mean Murdoch from MacGyver? Murdoch was not in MacGyver.
wasn't that Lethal Weapon?
No!
Honey, the bad guy in MacGyver is also named Murdoch.
But you're talking about
It's not just A-Team. No, I said I didn't include anybody from Generation because I didn't count Generation in my list.
So bad guy Murdoch from
Bad guy Murdoch from
Howling Mad Murdoch from A-Team.
No, not Howling Mad Murdoch from A-Team. They're the bad guy.
Leave Dwight Schultz out of this. That man was cool.
The bad guy in MacGyver was also called Murdoch, and he died after every fucking episode he was in, and was in 11 fucking episodes. MacGyver would kill off the fucking man, and then he would show up out of nowhere with new scars. And I'm like, when will this fucking end?
It's like a soap opera.
Yeah, did you see the actual kill, or was it like off screen?
I mean, like all of a sudden the whole fucking car's on fire. Like, I get it, but still, like, the character was awesome. I mean, the actor is awesome. I liked Murdoch as a bad guy. If they just kept him in, but they kept killing him off and then bringing him back. Just stop fucking killing him off and leave him in the show.
You sure he's called Murdoch? I thought he had a different name.
Google it, bitch! I love MacGyver and I've been watching it recently.
I'm not supposed to start arguments.
As a matter of fact, one of my very favorite episodes of MacGyver involves Murdoch, and he kidnaps MacGyver, and he puts him through this like training thing where he has to survive all this shit, including having to walk through a pit of snakes, and to be able to get through the pit of snakes without the snakes biting him, he drenches his legs in kerosene because snakes don't like kerosene, which gave me hard Indiana Jones vibes, and that is my favorite MacGyver episode, and it involves Murdoch, the bad guy.
See, I forgot all about MacGyver. That probably would have made my top 10.
I love MacGyver so much.
It was good shit.
Okay, Murdoch rings a bell to me now, seeing him on
now you see his
on
face.
Yahoo. However, he makes me think of Sherlock Holmes's enemy of Moriarty.
He is very
similar.
If you looked at MacGyver as a Sherlock, Murdoch would be the perfect Moriarty.
Yeah, exactly. I really believe that show is loosely based off Sherlock Holmes.
I mean, yes, definitely. But the thing
just
is,
with turkey basters, tape, whiteout, and paper clips.
No, it's usually just a Swiss Army knife and duct tape.
Yeah, that episode of MacGyver I remember the best. The hot air balloon, where he had to steal the map. Then the hot air balloon gets a hole in it. And he goes and he duct tapes the map over the hole in the hot air balloon. And he flies away.
I watched that recently.
I remember that episode so well.
My favorite one is when they crash the fucking plane and the wheels come off, and then he digs the little ditches and makes the little boat shoes for the airplane, the skis for the plane, and then they take off.
You know they brought that back, right?
Yeah, no, they didn't.
They did.
It's fucking garbage, and it's not even fucking MacGyver. Don't you ever say that in my kitchen again.
I'm sorry.
Did you watch it?
No.
Oh my
God.
Was it bad? Oh my god! Hashtag triggered.
Isn't that like on one of the big 3 channels?
ABC.
Is it?
Oh my god!
I thought it came out for a season 2.
It's like CBS. They did. But they redid Magnum PI. It's just like, okay, the guy wears a Hawaiian shirt. There's nothing Magnum about this dude.
No. And, they redid Lethal Weapon as a TV show, and they've already switched characters.
I liked the first season, but when they switched the character, I'm like, fuck it, I'm out. I think,
but it's got Stifler in it now.
Yeah, but I couldn't get into because I liked the original guy. It was pretty good in that role.
Apparently, he's an asshole.
That's what I heard.
He's like an asshole.
Yeah.
So the new MacGyver, I watched the first episode of it, and I'm like, this sucks so much donkey dick. I cannot watch any more of it. He is not MacGyver. The entire show was not based on MacGyver. They did too much to him. He was a simple fucking dude.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. I watched the pilot episode, another one. I'm like, nope, can't watch anymore.
Yeah, no, I can't. It triggers me so bad because.
And here's the bad thing, and I appreciate it, but at the same time, I hate it. They try to bring the same bit of corniness the 80s had by the way they had the actors act stuff out, and in the 80s, it's the 80s. That was what they did, but this was in the new millennia, and it was
today. That's just bad acting.
Yes, it did not play.
So, like, when they did... Do you remember when they remade Baywatch? It had none of the humor of the original Baywatch.
The movie?
The movie that with The Rock and what's his nuts?
I love Alexandra Daddario. That's the only reason I watched it, was just to watch her.
I honestly...
I used to watch Baywatch for the intro. When we do the 90s, best intro ever. Ooh. Everybody remembers the Baywatch intro.
Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So, during the previews, it seemed funny. I don't necessarily think it's a Baywatch movie, but it was fucking funny. But they used humor from today. There's none of that corny 80s humor. Now, if I watch a corny 80s movie, I appreciate it. But you throw that shit in today with modern actors and everything like that, and it just doesn't fit. But they took the Baywatch, which it could have been called anything, like Dicks on a Beach. It's not really necessary. It has nothing
titties.
Bouncing titties, rocks bouncing titties, dudes in board shorts. It doesn't matter what they call it. It's not necessarily Baywatch, but it was fucking funny.
Yeah, it was an alright movie, yeah. For what
I haven't
it was.
watched it yet, so I'm behind on my
You
movie
are
watching.
so behind. Brad needs to go back and start watching old stuff, and you need to catch the fuck up.
All right, best family.
I hate to do this considering what's going on today.
Wow.
But the Cosbys, man.
We didn't say Seventh Heaven, so that's a good thing.
Well, it doesn't matter. They're all turning out to be fucking rapists.
I thought he was a child pedophile.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I got a couple of rapists in here and not even know it, but obviously everybody knows about Bill Cosby. But to me, the quintessential family of the 80s was the Cosbys.
Oh, so you meant best family show. I went best show for the family to watch online.
Oh, well, I mean...
Because the best show for the family to watch for me was Highway to Heaven. I thought it was an awesome...
It was a good
simple, moral show. You never watched Highway to Heaven?
If I did
Michael Landon from Little House on the Prairie? Dude was so cool. He was
Brad
such a cool guy.
needs to go back. Brad needs to regress.
So there was one episode. It was super, super sad, but it meant so much to me, and I will always remember this episode.
It's probably the same. Probably the first episode.
So the show starts off with seeing this RV go over a cliff. It's a family. They go over the cliff. Well, the dog gets out of the RV and goes to get help. Finds Michael Landon, who is the angel on from heaven on earth, comes to rescue the family. They rescue the family. They go to thank the dog. The dog is dead in the RV. The soul of the dog went to get help to save this family. Such an awesome episode. It was just... I get goosebumps now from not the fact it was scary, but just the idea was so cool. The dog was so innocent and loved its family so much that even in death, it wanted to save it.
Dude, nothing
That's pretty cool.
sucker punches you right in the feels.
Such a good episode. Such a good show.
A loyal dog, and especially if it dies.
Yeah, I can't watch dog deaths in movies and shit.
Yeah,
that
me
shit
either.
checks me.
I would rather people die in movies than
I would
dogs,
too,
any
absolutely.
day.
But no, it was a great show. I think it was a great show to family to watch. It had a lot of morals to it. There was a Paul Hogan, the dude from Crocodile Dundee. He did a movie about being an angel. I can't remember what it was called.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember
But
either.
it wasn't Highway to Heaven, but it was very Highway to Heaven-esque in it. And I just thought it was really cool because of the idea. I just thought it was... You know, they were solid.
See,
They were solid shows.
I went with best family, like best, you know.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
Most of these shows are about family, so...
I didn't do that. I did
the
best show
Cosbys,
for a family. So.
The Cosbys were just the best for me.
Yeah.
Brad, what about you?
I went with the Arnolds from the Wonder Years. But I got a lot of families in my top 10, so...
That's true.
Yeah.
I have
The Seavers.
You know what? I have
Family
quite a few families, but most of mine are like blended families in my top 10. Like people that live together that aren't even related and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, I get that.
all right, what's your worst family?
Can't read my handwriting.
Oh Jesus, here it comes. Here it comes. I'm bitching at him forever about his handwriting.
What did I put down for worst family?
Oh my God, you can't even read your. That is like beyond.
Oh! I wrote Silver Spoons. I watched it once.
Yeah, but they're all a bunch of fucking
Yeah, they're a bunch of little snobby...
snobby little shitholes.
Yeah, so that's what I wrote. Not very solid on that one. Wasn't a big fan.
Brad, what's yours?
I couldn't think of a family I despised.
So, oh man, I'm going to catch shit for this. So, mine involves my favorite show ever, The Golden Girls. Now, I'll tell you why they're the worst fucking family ever. I love all four of the main characters of The Golden Girls. The show would not have worked without all four. But every single one of them assholes, except for Rose, treats Dorothy like fucking shit. Mm-hmm. And Blanche is a stuck-up little bitch. And the whole fucking 7 episodes, I want to pimp slap her with some fucking baby powder and shit, and she drives me crazy. And it is because of Blanche and how she treats Dorothy and how Sophia treats her own fucking daughter that I put the Golden Girls as the worst family. How they treat Dorothy pisses me, it triggers me so fucking bad. They act like she is just this huge, mongoloid, ugly, fucking useless piece of shit, and it drives me nuts. because Dorothy is a solid individual.
She was.
Now, they make fun of Rose, and Rose is kind of a twit on the show. She's supposed to be, but she was probably the nicest one to Dorothy. And I think that even though Rose is like, you know, Rose, they still bagged on Dorothy more than they did Rose, and that was supposed to be the part that Betty White was going to play. The one that gets bagged on because she's, well, crazy. But no, how they treat Dorothy puts Golden Girls as my worst family. Wow. I'm sorry. I know you didn't see that coming.
I didn't.
I know. I just have to be honest with myself as well as my list.
All right. Best car or vehicle in general?
I mean, Kit. Boom, Knight Rider, Kit.
That's what I was leaning towards.
All right, so I wrote Kit. I liked Kit. But since you all go for going Kit, the Power Wagon from Simon & Simon was an awesome truck. BA's van from the A-Team was an awesome van. If I ever get the chance to own a van, it will be BA's van. It will have the red stripe and everything else. But a vehicle most people won't think of, but I remember this show greatly too, was Airwolf, the helicopter. That thing was badass.
I never watched Airwolf. Sorry.
Did you never watch Airwolf either?
I didn't see
You were on your own on that one. Robert,
I'm
remember,
sorry, folks. I'm going to have to leave this pod.
I'm sorry. Bert, remember. Brad and I don't remember anything. And you remember the show that was on when you were born.
Airwolf with Ernest Borgnine.
I'm sorry.
I mean, Mermaid Man.
And Barnacle Boy, and I could probably recite you some episodes of SpongeBob because that is recent as hell.
I know you could, but that's...
We get it. Airwolf, baby.
Now that's a fucking cool intro too.
It is!
Like, they were great at it, which is why when you get shit like The Love Boat, you're just like, alright, baby.
I just don't know about you guys anymore.
But
Airwolf.
honestly, Kit, though, it's a smart car.
Oh, yeah. So, name 90s show that had Kit's voice in it. Because the actor was in the show. Come on. Think about it.
I don't know. It's probably a show I don't remember.
Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World. That was the guy
I
that...
never watched
Yeah.
Boy Meets World.
I watched Boy Meets World.
I watched Boy Meets World. I remember the episode where Corey took all 30 of his showers in one day. That way he caught up for the month.
So,
Oh yeah.
Mr. Feeney, come on.
I never watched Boy... I never did. Just, it's...
Man, we just got all these old shows we're going to have to go back and watch.
I know, but there's so much.
Topanga.
Topanga.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway. You don't see me over here talking about how hot Tony Danza was, all right? Just
Go ahead. He'll
So-
teach you English and
Who would you pick? Tony Danza or John, what's his name from Full House? Uncle
John
Jesse?
Stamos?
Uncle Jesse. I would pick Tony Danza.
Really?
Yeah,
I
think,
would pick.
I'm
John
sorry,
Stamos.
like. So for me,
Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
so actually, no, honestly, of the guys, I would probably pick Dave Coulier over Stamos. Listen, for me, sometimes, and I hate to say this, I don't trust it when a man's too pretty.
Good point. He is very pretty.
I mean, and I have a weird taste in men. Benedict Cumberbatch is like my love.
Benedict Cumberslut. Ew.
I mean, I do not go for the typical dudes.
That should have been a question on who should be our man crush from the 1980s.
I mean, we can add that in there.
Difficult. That's difficult. I mean, the Hasselhoff. I mean, the fucking hair.
Yeah.
You know
Again,
what I mean?
he's kind of too pretty for me.
I mean, we see what happens when he gets drunk and eats cheeseburgers, really. You know? And O.J. Simpson ruined his career as a rock star, so.
Oh, yeah, it was all OJ's fault.
It was! We talked about this on a prior pod.
I know, but still.
I blame O.J. He ruined another career. It's for emphasis.
Anyway, so your most overrated show.
All right, I'm going to piss some people off with this
Me
one.
too.
Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh.
Overrated!
I'm with you. That is what I
Okay,
think.
that's-
Totally overrated!
Yes, I
mean,
agree.
I was like looking at shows. I didn't like LA Law. Oh,
I'm changing mine to Dukes of Hazzard now.
Yeah, total piece of
I was
shit.
going to put LA Law. There's a couple others going to put there. I'm like, no, what is it? And the good old boy. That
Yeah.
one is so overrated.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there were some good episodes. I liked some of the acting, but it's so overrated.
Dude, one of my friends, she had these fucking VHS tapes of the Dukes of Hazzard. And
were they like homemade recorded off the TV?
no, they were actually purchased
Okay.
in a set off of the TV. Do you remember when you used to get those commercials on there for the box set?
Yeah,
by
yeah.
Seasons 1 through whatever, blah, blah. Yeah, she ordered it offline because she had a thing for Bo.
Well, I've got a friend obsessed with the car, and I think that's what makes me despise that fucking show.
So the car was great, but first of all, horrible paint job.
That car looks nice
It
if
does
it's
look
paint
nice.
straight black, or like I think they have a '68 Charger in the first Blade.
I'm just
Yeah,
not,
exactly. It's like the Blade Charger.
Yes.
Totally agree.
But I'm not that big a fan of that orange. I would almost rather if it was fucking
Yeah.
green or
Yeah.
blue or black or anything.
That's what I was saying. The
I'm just
car
not
looks
that
good with a different color.
And then the number. I just...
Generally, I mean, I
Yeah.
just think it's totally overrated. Everybody talks so
Yeah.
great about it. But when you go back and watch it, you're like, really?
It's not that hot shit.
This was cool stuff? No. Terrible storyline.
Yeah, I
mean, here's been my pilot episode. When I went, killed Boss Hog, just go ahead and get rid of him. Fucking done.
Yeah.
And then,
They
I don't
were-
care if she's my cousin or not, Daisy Duke, you're with me.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'd take Daisy.
Done. Uncle Jesse, I'm out of here. I'm going north.
My buddy used to throw a party, and we'd have a demolition derby, and we painted up his Toyota Corolla like the General Lee. Yeah,
I mean, it's fun to make fun of, but
It's a bad show.
yeah, it
I
was
just-
a bad show.
I agree.
And-
Bad acting, bad
yeah,
story.
I chose mine based on something that everybody talked about, but I never watched. But yeah, I'm definitely changing mine to the Dukes of Hazzard now.
Who was your original choice?
Sorry, Brad. It was Wonder Years.
yeah, you should be fucking sorry.
I never watched it, and I felt like I am the only person on the planet that never watched Wonder Years, so that's why it was my
watched
most
it.
over.
I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but I watched it.
Yeah, I never
the theme
watched
song, Always. I always know it's 1 year. Fred Savage.
I never watched it.
I
but
watched
yeah.
it all on Netflix. I'm thinking about going around too at it.
Yeah, I'm
I
thinking I
don't-
need to as well.
I don't hate it, but I do not like Dukes of Hazzard, so that's why I'm changing.
Yeah,
mine.
Dukes I had just totally. I mean, anything being overrated, it was definitely Dukes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, your best cop crime show.
I went with Night Court, but I also forgot Magnum PI and all the other ones.
See, Magnum PI was my thing. That was
Yeah.
my crime cop show. Even though he wasn't a cop. Perfect show.
Are those yours?
I went Night Court, but
And you went
Magnum
Magnum
PI?
PI? So, for mine, sorry, boys, I went Murder, She Wrote.
I forgot about that one too.
So, Murder, She Wrote is the shit, and then with an honorable mention of In the Heat of the Night, which wasn't on long in the 80s, so... Murder, She Wrote with a Heat of the Night.
I have to watch it in Heat Tonight again because I didn't like it as a
Oh, man, I loved In the
show. I
Heat
feel
of
like
the
I need to
Night.
watch it though.
And it had a pretty solid blue.
I'm just glad to see
jazz
Jump 21 Jump Street didn't hit anybody's list.
Oh my
Thank
god,
you.
21 Jump. Jesus.
Hill Street Blues.
No.
Thank you. TJ Hooker did it. Thank you. I appreciate
I'm sorry,
you folks.
but Angela Lansbury just running around with crazy shit happening, murders fucking everywhere, and she's just solving shit like a boss. She's the shit. I was gonna go Night Court, but I'm like, you know what? Murder, She Wrote deserves an honorable mention.
yeah, I watched that a lot with my
I
grandma.
remember.
Me too.
That's what I remember about Murder, She Wrote the most. You guys are going to hate me for this. At the end, with the typewriter going,
Yeah.
and the dog going, woof! I remember that more than anything about that show.
I loved Murder, She Wrote.
They didn't hate it.
I
but-
forgot that until you just said it.
You remember?
Yeah.
At the end of every episode, the guy typing on typewriter, pulling the paper out, and the dog going, woof! Oh, God.
All right, so what is everybody's best family sitcom?
Ready? So you might recognize...
Streaks on the china, never mattered before. Who cares?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Mr. Belvedere.
I loved Mr. Belvedere. Probably one of the things I like most, and why Mr. Belvedere is in my top 10, the whole family played a huge part in the show.
That little brat got Mr. Belvedere kicked out of the country. Oh, smacked the little brat.
But you watch these sitcoms, and then there's like more family members more prevalent than the other. It's the mom and dad, or the maid and the dad, or the what, whatever. But every character played that part in that family, and the dad was a really strong character in there. And there weren't many dads that were strong characters in the 80s, and I loved the relationship between the dad and Mr. Belvedere.
Yeah, I enjoyed Mr. Belvedere. It
was
was
so
definitely
good.
definitely best family sitcom.
So
What'd you put?
I put Go on, girls, get it! It's just
We feel like you need to leave the pod.
It's just great.
Golden Girls cannot be your answer to everything.
Oh,
My worst, my best, my least like, my most best. You can't do that.
The entirety of my list. What's your best favorite Golden Girls? What's your second Golden Girls?
What's your favorite cartoon? Golden Girls with 3D glasses on. What the hell? Jeez.
Anyway, it's not... I don't mention... From this one, I don't mention Golden Girls for the rest of the night.
Good.
I went with the Wonder Years.
Of course.
And I do mention them again.
Brad's like, for complete transparency, I mention them again.
I fucking love that show so much.
See, that's how I feel about the Golden Girls.
Like, the Wonder Years gave me the feels. Like, not a lot of shows do.
So, like, I get emotionally attached to characters. And, like, when Rose came out that she was addicted to her pills, I lost my shit. And when Blanche would be fucking mean to Dorothy, I'd fucking scream, fuck you, slut! And then, like, when someone would be like, calm down, goddammit, Sophia! And, like, I get all into it and stuff. And then at the end, in those last fucking 2-part episodes, where Dorothy finally bags herself a fucking man, and it's Leslie Nielsen, I've never been more satisfied in my life than to see Dorothy end up with a good fucking dude, and she got the bitch slap Blanche in the fucking process because it was her rich fucking uncle. Boom! Fucking ultimate.
Wow!
Get the feel.
I'll never look at Golden Girls the same way again. I feel like there should be a motion picture redo of this.
I'm just saying, and it was Leslie Nielsen, and I love Leslie Nielsen, and not to mention that, but their chemistry and stuff, and it started off as a prank. They were just pretending to be engaged to get at Blanche because they were both pissed at Blanche. And the next thing you know, they're falling on love and shit. And Dorothy deserves so much better than fucking Stan. Stan was an uber fucking dick with a horrible toupee, and I hated every bit of him. And she was always getting fucking blown off. And God, it was just such a great ending.
All right, best comedy.
Rah.
Yeah. Well, Balky, what's his last name?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
What?
Perfect Strangers.
So
Great show.
I can't
Great
pronounce
show.
his last name, but I'm pretty sure.
Pacabalapagus.
I'm pretty sure he was in one of my favorite movies from Second Sight.
No, well,
With actually Dan Felding was in it from Night Court too.
He was in that too, but he was also in a Beverly Hills Cop. He was the art salesman, and he started selling guns in the third one.
He was Serge.
Serge, yeah.
From fucking...
But I loved Perfect Strangers. Like I said, it was TGI Friday. That was my show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I remember when they stopped having it, I was devastated. I was like, what? No Balky? I mean, I was tore up about it.
Yeah, I loved it
Pinchot?
too.
I love Perfect Strangers.
TGIF.
Bronson Pinchot?
What ended up taking its spot? Because it was like the last show in the 2-hour slot, wasn't it?
So, Step by Step was becoming popular then. I think that was when it hit TGI Friday. Family Matters hit TGI Friday
There was
then.
the Full House, obviously. Yeah, dude, TGIF was the shit.
It was so good. And then they tried to do it again like in early 2000s, and it was horrible shows, and I don't even think it's a thing anymore. ABC used to be the freaking channel. Because you used to get TGI Fridays, then Saturday was a Disney movie every Saturday.
Yeah, so
I mean, ABC
it was the
had
only... When they played those Disney movies, the best thing I liked about ABC was that they didn't just play what was hot right now. I would have never have seen The Black Cauldron. I would have never have seen The Sword and the Stone. I would have never have seen some of these older great Disney movies had it not been for ABC Saturdays.
Yeah, agreed. Even the really famous, like Bambi and all those. If it was not for friggin' Saturday, not ABC, I would not have got to see those. And then we didn't get to watch them a lot, but it was nice to be able to see them.
And then they had that. It was like a Disney like masterpiece theater collection or whatever, where they would play the old ass Winnie the Pooh and stuff like that every now and then. And that was amazing for me when I was super little. And later in life, it became amazingly awesome for my youngest because he got hard into those old Winnie the Poohs too.
Yep. Best comedy.
Night Court. Funniest shit ever.
So,
Harry T. Stone, man. Bull. Roz was hilarious. Dan being the man whore that he was. Hilarious. Christine being an idiot. Yeah. Just, it was so funny. And then, like,
the chemistry. Yeah, such a good chemistry.
And then, like, these random crazy fucking... Do you remember the episode of Night Court with the fucking hillbilly couple that was getting married or whatever, and they came... One of the funniest episodes
Rings a
ever.
bell.
Man, they're just some of the people that would come in some of the cases. And then you had... Oh, man, what was his name? He was the guy that was handing the cases to Harry.
Oh, I remember who you're talking about. Oh, I love that guy. Crap. Can't remember his name.
Hold on.
Love that dude.
I loved him.
He always wore the sweater vest and
the sweater vest and the long sleeve shirt, but just the comments he would make behind the scenes.
Here you go, Harry.
Yeah,
He'd always say something sly. I can't remember any of them, but he was like the unsung hero of the show.
is that really Mac?
Please edit quiet. Yes, Mac is right.
Mac? Well, I would have never come up with that because it doesn't sound right to me, but I know it's Mac.
So what you got next, Mac?
Yeah.
That's what Harry would say to him.
And then
Harry.
and then he would say something and call out the case, and Mac would just say the shit, and it was just so good. The chemistry was just so great between all the characters on the show. All right, Brad, what's your
Best
comedy?
I'm going to have to go with Perfect Strangers as well. It's fucking great.
Love that show.
It was so good.
He's so funny, and I love him. I just loved him in Second Sight. Him and Dan, John from fucking Night Court,
Yep.
so good.
Yep. Good stuff. Good stuff. See, I miss those. I felt like those shows were really wholesome.
Yeah.
Wonder Years. I mean, A-Team and Knight Rider, they weren't the wholesome shows. They were just cool
But
action shows.
they were action shows, but they weren't bad
Perfect
for kids.
Strangers. It was like the 80s to 90s version of The Odd Couple. Mm-hmm. I mean, The Odd Couple was big in the 70s. The Perfect Stranger was like the next step in that. You know, so I feel like it was wholesome. Night Court was funny, but there was a wholesomeness to it.
There was always a lesson.
I can't think of a recent show that has that wholesomeness to it, with the exception of maybe Friends. And Friends has been off the air for how long now?
Yeah, true.
Complete transparency, I am not now, nor have I ever been a fan of Friends.
I haven't either, but I
Jennifer
get what you're saying.
Aniston. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Had to.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
All right, can I throw some wholesomeness in here? Even though I've been...
She was wholesome.
Oh, my God.
Still is, probably.
I get that it's kind of a sci-fi. I get that it's kind of horror, but I get that connection, that wholesome vibe from fucking Stranger Things.
I just love because it takes me back to the 80s, and it's a good fucking show.
It gives me just the kids, and like, they're just fucking kids. They're
It's
just
cool.
friends in school, and they get thrown with some heavy fucking shit. Now, it is a very modern TV show in the themes, but you got a great
I'll
mom
give you
freaking
that.
out over
I don't
her
really
kid.
agree, but I'll give you. I can
She's
see
got
where
this
it's
older
wholesomeness
fucking
now.
son and this younger son that's been through the shit, and like, it just does give me those vibes. I haven't been
I'll give you
as
that.
impressed from the fucking 80s to today. I have not had those same feels in a TV show until Stranger Things. And the fact that I just watched the trailer for season 3 today just like punches it home for me.
All right. Parents' favorite.
What was your parents' favorite?
The Wonder Years.
Wow, Brad.
Yeah, we're big Wonder Years fans.
Wow. We've talked a lot about Wonder Years.
Good show. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out.
What do you got, Steph?
MacGyver.
That was your parents' favorite?
So, back to the beginning of the pod where we talked about my dad always watching golf and figure skating. My dad never watched TV shows. Never. And he never watched movies either. He always has watched some form of sports or news or whatever. Mm-hmm. Actually, as a matter of fact, I've only ever watched my dad watch one movie, and it was a Western, Lone Wolf McQuade.
Heard of it. I don't remember it.
Lone Wolf McQuade had Chuck Norris in it, and he watched Pale Rider. Those are the only movies I've ever seen my dad watch. He was hard into sports and stuff and what was on TV. My mom was the TV show watcher, and her jam back then was MacGyver. She got me started into MacGyver. We watched MacGyver religiously. What about your family, Bert?
So, when I was growing up, I grew up in California for most of my younger years. My mom wasn't a big TV watcher either, I don't think. Not as much as what others are. And I remember getting our first color TV ever from Montgomery Ward. For you all that are our age, Montgomery Ward used to be a store like Sears, but they're gone now.
I remember Montgomery Ward.
My dad, he always wanted to watch WKRP Cincinnati because he was from the Cincinnati area. So it was like his touch of home. So while we were living in California, that was a show we watched all the time.
WKRP. WKRP Cincinnati was a great show, and I will never forget the Thanksgiving episode where the helicopter dude was throwing out frozen turkeys.
They weren't frozen.
Oh,
they were live turkeys in the show. They do the turkey toss now as a tribute, but they use frozen turkeys. Because the idea in the show was he's throwing turkeys out like, holy shit, turkeys can't fly!
So I just remember the guy, you never see the turkeys. I just remember the guy on the street, and it's like just going through this play-by-play of the fucking turkeys getting chucked out of the fucking, like, the news helicopter, and it was just the funniest thing. I was like, people are taking shelter! And I'm like, oh my god, this is fucking pandemonium!
Yeah, I remember my dad watching that show, and I remember from like 5 to 7 years old, my dad always wore a shirt with a green frog on it, and I didn't know what the hell it was. So I moved to Cincinnati, and like, my dad had an EBN shirt.
Oh, yeah. Right.
It was a long sleeve crew with buttons. And if I can find the family photo album,
shirt.
There was a little frog on it. It said WEBN. I'm like, man, my dad was a rocker back in the 80s.
Hell yeah.
So was I. So what was your guilty pleasure show?
I went with Punky Brewster.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like geared towards chicks, I would assume, kind of remember, and I kind of dug it, so.
I kind of dug Punky Brewster. I didn't watch it a whole lot. People actually used to call me Punky Brewster when I was younger. Even though my hair was lighter, I guess Punky Brewster, as she grew up through the show, her boobs developed quickly. So, as usual, I've never had a fucking nickname that didn't revolve around how big my boobs are. So people used to call me Punky Brewster because I was just as overdeveloped.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Punky Brewster.
So, my guilty pleasure was Alf.
Well, it shouldn't be a guilty pleasure.
Well, it was different from all the other shows. I mean, I can't think. It was the same as all the other shows, except for Alf. It was the only thing that was different from everything else that I watched. So that's why I put it in my guilty pleasure. Plus, I watched that on my own. Mm-hmm. My mom never watched it. Nobody in the house ever watched it. I was the only one that ever turned on Elf. Or Alf. Elf. What the shit? Alf. What about you, Bert?
Happy Days. Happy Days was my guilty pleasure. I don't know. It came on. I watched it. I thought the Fonzie was cool. I wanted to be like the Fonz. Happy Days.
I never wanted to be like the Fonz.
Hey. I thought the show was cool. And then,
I get that.
Yeah. But I never caught where Richie's brother just disappeared until somebody pointed that out in one of those shows. What happened to the siblings? Like, this could be a whole nother freaking pod topic. But it's like a series of shows where people just like disappear and they're never explained.
We could do it on like a fan theories episode.
Yeah. Like, so the one with Richie's brother is like, hey, I'm going to go play some ball. And he walks out of the kitchen play with his basketball, and he never returns.
Oh my god, do you think he got sucked down in the sewer by a fucking elf? Or,
by a clown?
By an evil clown with a red balloon?
Who knows, but they never talk about Richie's brother again.
That's like the setup for it, too.
Yeah. He was just gone, so, yeah. That was my guilty pleasure. A lot of people won't admit to Happy Days, but I'll admit to Happy Days. Another catchy theme song. It was close to being my fave, but I don't know. I like Happy Days.
I think there's nothing wrong with Happy Days.
So many awesome shows spun off from Happy Days. Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah.
Mork and Mindy. There's a couple others that weren't so great, but Scott Baio was in one of those spin-offs, and he was also in Happy Days, if I remember correctly, and he got Charles in Charge years later, so It's all good. Go Scott Baio.
And then he showed up later with Christina Ricci in a werewolf movie.
Did he?
Yeah, he was in Cursed.
I don't remember that movie.
Either.
It had, it was like a total 90s show. It took all the adults now from like the 90s, so Christina Ricci was in it, and then fucking what's-his-nuts, Pacey from Dawson's Creek was in it, and then Scott Baio turns up, and I'm like, what the fuck? But yeah.
Scott Baio's the man.
But what show would you like to see come back?
Cheers, only if I could be in charge of it. Because I think I would do well with
Brad's in charge of Cheers.
Drunken environment, the characters, the situations.
See, even though Cheers is nowhere on my list, I always will appreciate Cheers. Mm-hmm. Theme song was awesome. I loved Woody Harrelson's character.
Yes.
And knowing Woody Harrelson's history before he's ever on that show. Like you see him like, oh, he's the innocent little barkeep.
No.
That dude ain't innocent now. He wasn't innocent then. He wasn't innocent before. I mean, his dad was a freaking hitman for crying out loud, you know? I mean, that's just cool shit.
He was like 80s Frank Sinatra.
I love Woody Harrelson.
But
Woody Harrelson's great.
Christy Alley, I enjoyed Kelsey Grammer.
What is the blonde chick's name?
I can't remember, but she was in an episode of Frasier we watched.
Yeah, they all were in an episode of Frasier.
But I enjoyed Ted Danson. I love Norm.
Yeah.
Do you know what I like Ted Danson from? Everybody's gonna fucking just crazy. Speaking of family movies, do you remember the movie he was in with Whoopi Goldberg, Made in America?
Yep, I thought it was a great
and
movie.
Will Smith was in it?
Yep.
I thought that was a cute fucking movie.
Super cute movie. Super cute.
What's her name? Jennifer Tilly was in that too.
Yep. Super cute movie.
As a blonde, oddly enough. But yeah, I thought that was a super cute movie, and I loved him in that.
Yeah, I enjoyed Ted Danson.
So, a show that I would like to see come back, and I'm taking Brad's stance on this. I got to be in total control.
Wonder Years.
Total creative control.
No, I don't want her in charge of that.
No, I'd like to see a Night Court. It's
All right, I'm seeing the cast now. Give me a minute. I see Dwayne The Rock Johnson as Bull.
Oh, God.
Mark Wahlberg as Harry Stone. Wait, there's more. Hold on.
what? Kristen Stewart is fucking Christine?
Yes. And Roz can't be played by a woman. It has to be played by a male and be Will Smith.
No!
Oh, no, he plays Mac. Will Smith will play Mac. And Whoopi Goldberg will play Roz.
No.
I see it.
No.
It's done. I see the Burger King toys coming out with it. Because it's got to be done as a movie. It can't be done as a show. They don't do shows like that anymore. It's got to be done as a movie.
I want to do a show. And
Jar Arquette's character Dan is played by Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah. Oh.
No.
Wow. We got ourselves $1 billion idea right here.
No, I will.
Or $1 billion flop.
I will cast this myself. That is absolutely wrong. You just took everybody I hate and put them in characters that I love, and you threw Benedict Cumberbatch in there because you thought that if you threw somebody I like in there, that I keep that cast.
No, yeah, I know you want to keep that
I'm
cast.
I'm ditching the cast.
Martin Freeman?
Okay. I'd be okay with him.
But leave everybody else.
No. No, that is absolutely wrong. Why do you have to poop on my party?
I don't know.
I'm telling you. He loves it. Look, Mark Wahlberg may be a solid dude. I've seen some of the stuff that he said, on Facebook and stuff like that. He seems like a good guy. I do not like Mark Wahlberg in movies. I think he should give up acting.
She doesn't. She hates him so bad.
And he's not in my show.
Hey, are we getting a Wahlburgers in Eastgate? Do we know that for sure?
I think
Is that
we
it?
are. Yeah, we are.
We are
Myers
totally
parking
going to be
lot.
eating there.
Yeah, they make good burgers, man. There's
We're
one
totally
downtown.
gonna
Look, that's what I'm saying. I don't care if he wants to be famous. He seems like a solid dude. I just need him to stay out of movies. And if he wants to play like bullshit stuff, like when he was in the Daddy's Home and stuff like that, that's fine. But he needs to stay out of serious roles. There's two movies I've ever seen with him in it that I like, and this dude's been in hundreds of movies: The Shooter and The Departed, and that's it.
Tie-in Job was really good too.
Nope, The Shooter and The Departed, and that was it. And the only reason I like him in The Departed was because
you were
were
talking
so
serious movies, because I'll
many.
say Ted's pretty great. Transformer movies.
Yeah,
that was
if he
bad.
wants to do movies like Ted, fine. If he wants to do movies like, what was the one that he was in with Will Ferrell?
The
Where he's like, I'm a
Daddy's
peacock
Home
or whatever. No, it was like a.
Daddy's Home.
It was
Daddy's Home.
No, there was another
Daddy's
one.
Home.
There
Daddy's
was
Home.
another one where they were both cops. It was like a playoff of 21 Jump Street.
Oh, the other guys.
Yes.
Oh, that was a good one too.
If he wants to continue to do movies like that, I am all for it, but he needs to stay out of serious roles.
I don't know. I don't value your opinion anymore.
All because I didn't watch The Wonder Years.
All right. Guess what I want to come back?
What's that?
Perfect Strangers.
Fuck yeah.
Moving strangers.
I just don't know who could play the parts. Like, I've been running this through my head. Like, for some reason, Bruno Mars comes to mind.
Okay, that little motherfucker is cute as shit. I love him. He could be in it.
But I could totally see him playing Balky's role.
Yeah.
I don't know who could play the serious role. And I got an idea, because one serious movie I've seen him in, because he doesn't do serious movies, but Will Ferrell?
Okay, Perfect Strangers
that
was
curly
so
hair.
good.
I mean, right? I mean, I just feel like those two together, that'd be an interesting Perfect Strangers.
Okay,
Yeah.
do you understand, though, that Bruno Mars is like 4'10"?
That's fine.
Okay, all right.
It's a reimagining. So.
Okay, that's fine. As long as you understand how tall. But he is cute as hell, and he's just adorable little shit.
I don't know why Bruno's Mars, but I just feel like he fits that role. I really do.
That's fine. I'm for it.
And then
I'm
Will
for
Ferrell's the
Ferrell.
serious guy.
Look,
I
when
mean,
he was in Perfect Strangers, it was so good. And the one where he hears the voice. You said Perfect Stranger. What was that called? Come on, the serious Will Ferrell movie.
Stranger in Fiction.
Stranger in Fiction. Thank you. I was saying Perfect Strangers,
Yeah.
but I meant Stranger in Fiction.
Yeah, his serious role. Great movie.
So good.
Love that movie. And it's like, this man can really act.
Yeah.
He just doesn't do stupid shit like in Superstar and Night at the
So
Roxbury.
Will
He's
Ferrell
actually a
needs
good
to
actor.
Will Ferrell needs to go to the serious shit, and then Mark Wahlberg can take over the Will Ferrell movies. I am totally fine with that. Will Ferrell can still do shit with What's His Nuts.
John C. Reilly?
Yeah, they can still do their thing.
Those two are great.
Yeah.
They could all... I almost said John C. Reilly for Perfect Strangers,
But,
but I feel like it would be take away.
Yeah.
It would take away because I feel like...
you need opposites.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel... And like I said, Bruno Mars just comes to mind. I just feel like he would be perfect.
I'm okay with that.
So, yeah.
He is adorable.
I think that's a good pairing.
Be interesting.
Yeah.
Be a damn interesting movie.
Yes.
All right.
Or TV show.
I don't. They won't do a TV show. Well, it won't make it. There's
I
no
want Night
TGI
Court to be a
Fridays
TV
anymore.
show.
All right, best show. Yeah, with Mark Wahlberg.
Okay,
Best show couple.
No, but okay, but my show isn't going to be on regular TV. It's going to be a Netflix
original?
It's going to be a Netflix original.
Yeah, mine's going to HBO. Because it's
All
going to
right.
be lots of tits and,
Wieners and
definitely
you're going
wieners.
to
Wow.
he's going to Game of Thrones it. Just wieners everywhere.
The bars keep doing all the waitresses in the back.
Yeah.
Norm's like, yeah, you go.
Do a little Californication meets Eastbound and Down.
Said Ted Danson. That's who you could have. Fucking crap.
What the fuck is his name now?
Oh my God, we're all
Oh,
we're all fried, mentally
what's his
fried.
name?
Danny McBride.
Yes, Danny McBride.
He would be the guy I cast for the lead role.
That would be perfect. Oh,
Fuck yeah.
sweet. I can see these things.
Wait, hold on.
$billion ideas.
What was the name of the kid from Superbad that he was in the movie with?
Oh,
Jonah Hill?
Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah.
Sarah.
What? Okay, he can play what's his nuts' role.
Not Woody Harrelson's role.
Not Woody Harrelson's role. Oh man,
Norm?
I can't think of his Norm.
No,
I think he would make a good barfly.
no. John Goodman should be Norm.
What was that
Yeah.
show that he was in, and then it all of a sudden gone? It was very political.
Alpha House.
Alpha House. That was a good show. John Goodman's got it.
And
still.
then was it Rhea Perlman? Was that with the bar waitress, the one with the loud, crazy hair? Instead of her, you have Wanda Sykes play her role.
Yeah,
I mean, the attitude, everything would be perfect.
Fuck
definitely.
Man, you talk about awesome cheers.
It's going to be awesome.
But the intro should be the same song, but done like metal.
Yeah. Definitely.
Sometimes you
Have some Norwegian black metal band do it.
All right, so best couple of the 80s TV shows.
Kevin Arnold and Winnie Cooper.
Winnie Cooper. Oh, yeah.
Total babe.
Oh, God.
And she's a genius.
Yes.
All right, Bert.
Mork and Mindy. I love them. The two, perfect. Nanu, all the way.
So, honorable mention first, Angela and Tony from Who's the Boss.
That was a good couple.
I was rooting for them
Yeah, I can see that.
from day one.
Did they ever get together? Okay. Yeah.
But my number one, and I hate to go back to Golden Girls, Dorothy and fucking Lucas. Fucking Dorothy Spornak.
I thought
and
you
Lucas
said they
Hollingsworth.
weren't mentioned anymore.
All right, well, I lied.
Yeah, you
I
did.
lied.
At least Brad came out with 100% honesty. And said,
I
"Wonder
forgot.
years
I
will be
forgot.
mentioned again.
I forgot. It was just, like I said before, just my rant about how great it was at the end for her to finally get somebody, and they end up being great, and it was a slap in the face to Blanche, and they make such a cute couple, and the wedding went off without a hitch, and Stan got his, big old right up the poop chute Dorothy ain't dealing with bullshit anymore. It was just, they were a great couple. Dorothy deserved him.
All right. I got some honorable mentions.
Oh, God.
All right. So you guys know this as well as I do, more likely, that you all had to watch some PBS when we were kids.
Yes.
We didn't mention any PBS shows, so I'm going to mention them. The Joy of Painting with Bob Ross.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally got to be mentioned for 80s shows.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Justin Wilson, the cooking show. I guarantee it.
Is he, the guy, the super southern Louisiana guy?
Red suspenders. Yes. Gotta mention that man.
So good.
Then, the other cooking show, Yan Can Cook. So can you.
Never watched
You
it.
never watched Yan Can Cook?
Nope.
Man, little Asian guy, he
I
was
just
awesome.
watched
so cool.
the Creole dude.
And he was fun to watch. All right, so beyond PBS, My Two Dads with Paul Reiser. That definitely hits my list of honorable mentions. Quantum Leap with Scott Bakula. And I can't remember the other guy's name, but he was in the new McHale's Navy movie. And then A Different World, not just because of the show, but because it had Sinbad. And I am just a big fan of Sinbad. I think Sinbad is hysterical.
Yes, he is. I love his
Sinbad.
comedy. Sinbad's comedy is great.
So those are my honorable mentions for the 80s.
All right, I don't know if I have any on. Like I said, I'm firm on my list, but I did put Charles in Charge on my list. He almost made the top 10.
How does
He
Charles not make your top 10?
He would be.
Yeah.
It would be like 11.
It's Scott fucking Baio.
I get that.
Maybe he should be in Cheers.
Yeah, definitely. Cast him.
I see things.
Yeah, I'm firm on my list, but Charles in Charge would have been my 11.
Anybody you like to honorably mention?
Yeah, I had a hard time picking these out just because.
Memory.
Yeah, man.
Look,
like,
when we switch over from the 80s to the 90s, the shit's
it'll
going
be
to
a lot
be popping.
easier, yeah, because the
I
80s
have
was more
fucking
cartoons
dementia.
and toys for me. So
And I have dementia. I swear I have dementia. As always, we would like to thank Purple Planet for our music.
YouTube for some of the great theme songs that we were able to listen to
Yes,
momentarily.
YouTube.
Please don't demonetize us, even though we don't get money.
Yeah, we don't get paid for this shit. We don't get paid for this shit, so we really don't care that we use theme songs from our favorite TV shows.
Patreon.
And our worst TV shows. And that horrible fucking... I'll never get over how bad The Love Boat is.
Love Boat.
We post on Mondays.
We do.
You can listen to us on Podbean and the Podbean app, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, and iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio is Bert's favorite now.
You can contact... Actually, I've been using Apple Podcasts. I switch back and forth a lot, and sometimes I use the Podbean app. I've got like a bunch of them. I just switch off. I'm like, I'm going to give YouTube a little love today.
So, momentary rant. Podcasts should play in sequential order, not go from newest to the oldest and oldest. You start from the oldest to the the newest, and so forth. They're all wrong because they start with the most recent and they work their way backwards. No, they should start in sequential order.
I got to
Ridiculous.
disagree because when I'm up to date with a show, I like the one that I'm listening to right now to be up at the top.
And if you've already listened to it, then it doesn't start there. But if I start a podcast in the middle of Season 2, I don't want to start in the middle. I want to begin at the beginning of Season 2. Nope, it starts me in the middle, and then it works me backwards. It should go oldest to up to the newest, unless I've already watched it.
So all apps that offer podcasts should do it to where, like, you know, like when you're...
I should be able to choose.
Yeah,
I should be able to
when
choose.
like when you go to a clothes app or a makeup app and it says the new arrivals and then like the lowest price to the highest price, you should get to choose.
And if this exists, people, please let us know. We're just stupid, I guess.
You should get to choose like most recent to least recent and least recent to most recent. So you should get to listen to episode 1 to 100 and whatever, or episode 100 and ever back down to 1.
Sorry.
Anyway,
There.
So
It should be like an Excel spreadsheet. I should be able to filter and sort the way I want.
yes, you can contact us, pottymouths at Gmail, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at mouthspotty.
Mouse body.
And this is not our last Retro Rewind.
Oh, no. I really think we should build off this Cheers thing, though. That's a great idea.
Look, we already have a movie to make about Dan the Worm Wrangler.
how about we all write a fucking treatment for our picks of what should be rebooted?
So, like, like pick a cast.
Yeah,
and then how we would work it.
Kind of like maybe create the first 10 minutes of the episode.
Or like a pilot episode?
Yeah, like a pilot
okay,
episode.
so...
a synopsis.
All right,
I like that.
So on a what, we're just going to do a random-ass episode on it?
Random episode. I'm going to do a movie because I feel like a movie's going to be more
Or
successful.
however you want to approach it.
No, I mean for the pod.
Oh, yeah.
Are we just going to like, and here's our...
Yeah.
All right, okay, all right. So, just to remind everybody, since we're going to do this, I chose Night Court as a TV show on Netflix. Brad chose
Cheers
on HBO, and Bert chose
Perfect Strangers as a movie released by 21st Century Fox.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna come up with our cast. We're gonna come up with our little synopsis, and we're going to do our thing. We're going to create our pilot episode or
Movie
trailer, movie trailer for Bert. All right, so yeah. Well, you just heard where you can message us at if you got some great ideas for our our little episodes here. Let us know. But this is Stephanie.
This is Bert.
This is beautiful Brad.
Good night, everybody.